Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today we are going to play around with one of Stampin' Up's kits collection. We're going to play around with the Birthday Sparkle kit. And I just want to share some alternate ways that you can use this kit to create um, actually more projects than what are in the kit. So you guys know that I like to create alternate designs using the paper pumpkin kits. And so now I started this little venture where I'm creating alternate designs with the kits collection. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. So I'm going to walk you through some alternate ways to use this particular kit to create. I think I created 12, 15 cards, I think. Something like that. So anyways, this is the kit. These are the alternate designs that we're going to play around with. And I will actually, let's see, I'm going to link in the description with this video maybe. I'm going to just link the Beyond the Box kit classes. So I started this just a couple of months ago where I've been putting together classes each month that feature a different kit from the kits collection. So I provided that link in the comment section with this video, so you can go take a look at that. But I offer class packages where I'll send you the entire kit plus all the supplies you need to create the alternate designs, or you can just get the tutorial, or you can just get the video and tutorial. So you can go check it out. After the live, though. Pay attention to the live. So I'm going to walk you through some of these cards. These are the three that I'll walk you through. The kit actually, let's grab this kit. The kit comes with all the supplies that you need to create 6 cards. So there's 6 standard A2 size cards. And then there's also supplies in here to create some little tags. So of course I took those little tags and I turned them into cards, but you could certainly keep them as tags. You don't have to make cards out of them. But I'm just showing you some alternate ways that you can use this kit. And then the kit also comes with a little Stampin' Spot, a little early espresso Stampin' Spot. And then this is the stamp set. I don't know the best way to hold this. This is the artwork for the stamp set that comes in this kit. So, all right. So before we get into making these alternate designs, I do want to show you just what the designs look like from the kit. So let's pull these out. So there's little tags, and then there is 2 different card designs. And of course, my phone's going to ring. So there's 2 different card designs, and then there's these little tags that you can create, obviously to put on your presents or whatever that you're giving. So they're just very neutral card designs. So if you don't like kind of the neutral design, this kit might not be for you because it's all done in craft cardstock and then kind of the neutral colors. But I do like the neutral colors, so this kit was right up my alley. So I'm going to show you, oh, I should also show you the envelopes. There's coordinating envelopes. These are the envelopes. Here's front and the back of the envelopes. So you get 6 coordinating envelopes in this particular kit. All right, so the first card that I want to share with you is this particular card design. So what I like to do with a lot of my kits is I will cut apart the card bases. So in each kit, you typically get a card base. And so the score line is right here. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the card base to create the card from the kit. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut up the card bases, because if you cut up the card bases, then you can create a lot more cards than what the kit gives you. So basically we're just going to cut this right in half at 4¼ inches. So I'm cutting right on the score line. If you do want to make some alternate designs, then don't fold your card bases. So when you get the kit and you get these card bases, don't fold on that score line because it's going to be really difficult to cut it apart. You're going to get a little bit of a mess. So don't fold on the score line until you know exactly what you want to do with the kit. All right, so now the next thing I did is I just cut this down. So I basically want it to fit within this frame that's in the kit. Um, so I think, let me just make sure that I'm doing this right. I cut it down an inch on each side. So let's cut it down. We're going to just take an inch off each side. Oops, and I didn't even cut that right. Try it again. So we'll just flip it around, take an inch off this side. And then this is the little piece that we're going to be left with. Oops, so let's bring back this card so you guys can see. And then I just used this piece. So this is the back side of the card base. I just used that to create some of the other alternate designs that I'll share with you. All right, so I need a piece of white cardstock. So I just used my own white cardstock. So this is just thick, basic white. This is your A2 size card. So it's just 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. It's the same as this. And then this piece is just going to go right in the center of this card base. So I'm going to add that first. So let's add that. So the card in the kit actually was created in like a landscape style. This one I'm going to create in portrait style. So let me just show you the difference. So this is the kit card, and then this is the alternate design. So by creating this alternate design, I was just able to cut up that card base and use it differently. All right, so these are just some of the elements that came in the kit. So it's a cute little frame that's going to go around this. So you're going to pop this out, and then you're going to save this little piece, this inside piece, because you can create some alternate designs with that. So what I'm going to do is take one of the stamp images, just the little confetti image, and I'm going to use early espresso ink because that's what came in the kit. And we're going to stamp this little confetti style image in each of these corners. So you're just going to use the early espresso. All right, so that's the basic design. And then we're just going to add this to our card. So let's add some dimensionals on the back. Yeah, I really love playing around with the kits. That seems to me be my thing lately. I like the kits because they come with, you know, all the supplies you need to create whatever the projects are. And then I like to just kind of stretch my creative side and just do something a little different with each of the kits. So usually I'll create the designs that come in the kit, and then I'll play around with the extra supplies and create some alternate ideas. So I really like doing that. For me, it's very relaxing to create and do those kinds of things. So, all right, so we're going to add this over the top. So let's add that. And then in the kit, they had just this little strip of gold foil. And this is one of the, what do I want to say? One of the, the things, the labels, that's it. One of the things for your greeting. So I just stamped a greeting on it, just using the exclusive stamp set. We're going to add this little gold piece right behind the greeting. And then we're going to stick this greeting on. So I'm going to add a couple dimensionals right down here, because part of the greeting is going to hang off. of this frame. So we'll just add some dimensionals there. And let's see, we want some glue down on this side. So the top part of the greeting is going to be on those little dimensionals, and then the bottom part is just going to hang off onto the frame. All right, so that is that. And then in the kit, there was this little sticker sheet that has all the little flames that you can just peel off and add to your candles. So we'll just do that. And I think when you look at the picture of this kit, you cannot see all the detail out on the Stampin' Up! Website. So when I got this kit, I was actually a little bit more surprised at all the detail in here. So hopefully you can see the details, but so I guess the moral of the story is it always looks better in person. All right, so that's the basic design. And then let's see, did I put stuff on the inside? I just added some little leftover scraps on the inside of the card. And then I just kind of stamped those little images all around and used a different, sentiment or greeting on the inside. So that is the first alternate design. And then let's look at this next one. So in the kit, there is that tag. Now I just have to find my tag. Here it is. So the kit gives you instructions on how to put this tag together. So I already put it together. Since the kit includes the instructions, you don't need me to show you how to put this together. But I already put the tag together, so I'm just going to add some dimensionals. And basically what we need to do with the tags is we need to create some type of background for our card. So let's put that aside. So what I did for this one is I basically started again with a piece of white cardstock. And then I added a 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Yes, I was cutting weird pieces of paper, but so this is, what did I say? 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. So this is just a piece of early espresso cardstock. I'm just going to add it in the background. And we'll just set this aside for the moment. And then I took a piece of that card base. So remember that leftover card base, the back side of the card base that we have from creating the previous card? I just cut a piece of that. And so this is 2 1/8, I believe. Let's just look. 2 1/8 by 4 1/4 inches. And so for this one, we're just going to stamp the little confetti things on there again. So let's stamp that. So we'll just stamp them in each of the corners. Oop, and I just got my finger in it. There we go. I like this little confetti piece. It just is really cute. I don't know. I don't know why I like it so much, but I do. All right, so let's bring the card base back. And then this is just going to go right across the center. We'll just add that. Give that a second to set up. I have a really hard time doing things according to the directions. I've tried so hard to case designs and to do things according to the way they're laid out, and my brain always says, nah, don't put that there, put it over here. So once in a while I can case something and do it as it's intended, but for the most part, I can't. All right, so then you're just going to add this little piece kind of on an angle. You're going to add that little tag. So that's from the kit. And then I just cut a little piece of glimmer paper. I have tons of gold glimmer paper, so I know you can't, I don't think you can get gold glimmer paper anymore, but I have a bunch because I like sparkly things. So I'm just going to add this. This is just a 1/4 inch wide, and it's 3 5/8 inch long. So I just added a little bit of bling on the bottom. And then I used some of these new embellishments. These are the pressed flower motifs. And I just added those because they just went really well with the neutral style cards that are in this particular kit. And so that is the alternate design. And let's see, did I put anything on the inside? No, I didn't do anything on this one yet. But you can add some leftover pieces of paper and use some of these stamped images on the inside. So that's the second alternate design. And then this third alternate design, I have 6 or 7 of them, but this third one I want to walk you through is the one with the balloons. So let me grab all my pieces here, and I need a card base actually. I didn't fold my card base. So let's grab a little bone folder here. So you're going to start with a white card base. And let's fold that. All right, so that is the card base. And basically what you want to do is we want to create our little cluster of balloons up here. So before I do that, I'm going to show you what comes in the kit. So you get these little craft pieces, these little balloon pieces. And then there's 2 different images in the kit that you can use, or in the stamp set, sorry, that you can use to stamp the different designs on there. And then the gold balloon does not come in the kit. But what I did is I took one of those little balloons, those little craft balloons, and I just traced it onto the back side of a piece of glimmer paper. So let me grab my little marker here. So you just need to, you don't have to get fancy, you just need to trace it because this is on the back side. So trace the balloon. And I recommend just saving one of these balloons because you can make more of these balloons just by saving one of these as a template. So you can make them in different colors. So if you want to make your balloons in, red or yellow or whatever you want to make them in, you can do that. So save one of those balloons as a template. Whoop. All right, so now we're just going to use the scissors and we're just going to cut around on this area that I traced. And then we'll have our little gold balloon. All right, so there's our balloon. See how easy that was? All right, so now what I want to do is I want to create this little bunch of balloons. So I kind of want to offset them a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue here. And I want to add a little bit of glue here. And we'll line these up. And then we'll offset this one. So let's move them in a little bit. Let's go right about there. So I recommend putting it together like this, and I'll show you why. So once you get them kind of glued together, let's add some dimensionals right away. I use my dimensionals to kind of hold them in place. Let's see, do I got a long one? I can put it in between. Let's cut this. I'll put this right in between there. And we'll just put one on the top and bottom. We'll just add a bunch here. All right, so that's our basic balloon design. And so that's important because of this next step. So I'm going to grab my bone folder and just smooth this cardstock down. because we're going to be stamping directly on the card front. So here's what I want to do. I want to take my balloons and I want to put them like this is where they're going to go. That's where I want them to be. So I'm just going to move them up a little bit. And I'm going to grab my little balloon string. So there's a little image in this particular stamp set that you can stamp your strings for your balloons. So we're going to use our early espresso ink. And then we're just going to follow the design. So I want my balloons probably right about here. So we want a balloon there, a string, and we want another string here. So notice how I'm just kind of following where the ends of the balloon are. And then we want another one over here. So I'm using that as a guide. I hope that makes sense, to stamp the little strings. And then what we'll do is we'll put our balloons on. Let me get all these dimensionals off here. And then we'll just put our balloons on and they should match up pretty close. So that's just an easy way to kind of use this, use whatever design you want with your balloons, however you want to stagger them, put them together first, and then lay them on your card front like that so that you can use them as a guide to stamp the little strings, okay? All right, and then the next thing I did is I just used some of the Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper, that gingham style. So that went really well. It coordinated really well with this particular kit because this kit is all neutral. So that's just going to go on the bottom here just to kind of cover up the bottom of the balloons. And it's also going to be the place where we put the greeting. But this is just a 1.5 by 4.25 inch piece. So it just goes the full length of the card there. And before I add the rest of the stuff, I'm going to add some of that little confetti because I'm stuck on the confetti. So let's add one like right here. And then we'll add another one up here. And then we'll add another one over here. All right? You can add as many as you want. All right, then I just cut a piece of white cardstock that is 2.5 by 1 inch. And then I just used that to stamp a little greeting. So I just used one of the greetings from this set. And then I have a 1/2 inch by 4.25 inch piece of early espresso cardstock that I'm just gonna put right across the bottom here. So we'll kind of divide this piece of pattern paper up. And then we'll add some dimensionals on here. So this is one of my favorite alternate designs because if you save that template, if you save this little balloon, just one of the balloons out of the kit as a template, you can create just a bunch of alternate designs using whatever supplies you have. So if you don't have the neutral style like I have here, then just make the balloons, like I said, red or yellow or whatever color you want to make. And you can make a lot of birthday cards this way, just saving that little balloon template, because you can cut that balloon out of designer paper, out of glimmer paper, whatever you want to do. So that's a really fun alternate design that really makes the card making possibilities almost limitless. All right, so let's add some of these little gems. And then I think that is our design. Let's see if I did anything on the inside. I can't remember if I did. Oh, I did. Some of them I did and some of them I didn't. So, all right, so I just added a little 3/4 inch wide piece of scrap paper and then just just stamped some of the other images on the inside. So very simple card and really fun way to use this kit. So, but I just wanted to also show you with this particular piece what you can do. So I'm not going to actually walk you through the entire card, but I'll show you the alternate design I created with this. But this is how I started. So I used this little leftover piece. So this is the piece that comes out of the center of the frame that comes in the kit. And of course, I started out by, oh, let me move this here. I gotta find my alternate design so that I show it to you correctly. So I started out by just using this little confetti piece to add pieces in the corner. So I just added it to each corner. Just like that. So it gives it a really fun little design. And then you can use that balloon string and you can add a line on each side. So I can add one on this side, and then I can add one on this side. And so it gives you just kind of a fun little design, and then you can add a little focal point in the center. So I'll show you what I did with it. So this is one of the alternate designs that I created with this little leftover piece. Just added some bling in the background and then used that as the focal point. And this balloon is one of the balloons from the kit, but you can add a cluster of balloons if you want, or whatever you want to add. So, all right, so that is one of my other alternate designs. I'm going to show you some of the other ones. So with the cupcake that comes in this kit, you can create this fun little design. So a lot of the craft card bases have this gold foil on them. So I just cut all the craft card bases down and I cut this gold foil rectangular section out of the card base. So that's actually what is back here. That gold foil is one of the card bases. And then I just use some of the other pieces from the kit to create this little design. So that is another alternate design. And then this one kind of goes along. I should have probably showed you these two together. These are very similar. One uses the card base, and then one I used my own supplies. So these two are very similar. And then what else do I have here? I have this design. So this uses the back side of that card base with the cake on it. So just another fun way to use the balloons. And there's little stars in the kit because actually the little stars, let's see if I can show you that. The little stars go in the cupcakes. So in the kit, these stars here have like a toothpick that go through the little cupcake there, but I didn't use them that way. I just used the stars to decorate the cards. So those are the alternate designs. I'll try to bring them all back for you. So here's the cake design. And these are the three that we made during the live. And then these are the other alternate designs. And then just one other alternate design. I just used that tag with a little bit of designer paper. So that's just a very simple way to use that tag. All right, so those are the alternate designs that I created with this particular kit. Like I said, I like to play around with the Stampin' Up! Kits collection and just come up with some different ways to use it, some different ways to stretch the supplies in the kit, and also different ways to use the exclusive stamp set. So there are lots of alternate cards, like I said, that you can create, especially this design, using the exclusive stamp set and some of your own supplies from the kit. So there are lots of things you can do with this kit. If you are interested in my Beyond the Box kit classes, I did provide a link in the comment section of this video, so you can go take a look at that. I've done some kit classes with the Cherry Blossoms kit. I have a new one that just launched this month with the Garden of Thanks kit. And then now I just shared the birthday sparkle kit with you. So those 3 kits are out there. I do offer just the tutorials, or you can get the class package, which also comes with the tutorials. So if you don't have the kit, the class package is a great way to get the kit and then get all those supplies to make the alternate designs. So go check them out. I've had a lot of fun creating these classes. The the kit class packages, if I could say it right, the class packages tend to sell out pretty quick. So if you are interested, I would recommend that you snag them up right away. So, all right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed just a look into one of the Stampin' Up! Kids collection and a look into one of my new monthly classes. So I hope you enjoy these alternate card designs, and I hope it inspires you to play with your kits just a little differently, just to kind of look at the supplies in your kit a little differently to create some alternate designs. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the day and a great week, and I will see you guys next week. So take care, everybody.